Today, we will focus on understanding what chakras are. Chakras are meeting points of nerves, which make a specific area of the physical body more sensitive to energies. These are points particularly capable of retaining energy and then using it for their own purposes. We have countless chakras scattered throughout the body, but the absolutely most important ones are 8. Through the practice of meditation, we can fill our chakras with energy that comes from the outside, known as prana, just as our body is nourished by external factors, that is, food. Our body is not capable of creating all the substances it needs on its own. Instead, we must introduce them by eating and nourish our inner self with nutrients from outside sources every day. Our chakras too cannot create their nourishment on their own. In fact, they need to assimilate external energy in order to develop. To do so, they require meditation, the means by which prana is absorbed through the chakras. Chakras, which are energy containers, expand and grow when energy is present, while they shrink and atrophy when energy is absent. Chakras cannot disappear, just like a malnourished physical body does not vanish. Our chakras, therefore, will become dry, thin, because they only have access to a small amount of energy, which is that little bit they manage to gather from our unconscious breathing. Nevertheless, they remain there, they don't vanish. From the moment one starts to meditate, the chakras begin to feed on the substance they need, which is pranic energy. This allows them to become active and functional again. It is not an empty comparison to say that chakras are just like our body parts. If we don't use them for a long time, they atrophy, but if we train them like the rest of the body, they return to being functioning without issue unless, of course, they are broken. However, chakras do not break because they are made of energy and can be reactivated, or rather reassembled, at any time with the right care. Energy centers can be used as containers, where we store energy until we want to use it for something that pleases us. The body and our consciousness will take part of this energy and nourish themselves with it to feel better, to protect themselves, and to increase their health. This will not be possible if the chakras were empty, and in such a case, in times of need, the body will fall ill, and the consciousness will weaken drastically. If instead the chakras are constantly full, the body and consciousness can nourish themselves with energy. And in time of need, well, it won't be a problem at all. In fact, you won't suffer any harm. So, the function of the chakras is to contain energy, but also to use it in such a way that our entire life can reap the benefits. Although now, at the beginning, you may not understand all of this, you will realize through experience that each chakra is more suited for a specific action and therefore event in your life. Your daily life, in fact, is not only made up of actions that can be summed up as work and home, but there is a mix of physical and emotional sensations that make up your day. In fact, during the day, you feel emotions, you think about problems and how you can solve them. You feel tired and wish you had more energy. And just with these 3 actions, I have listed for you 3 different chakras that, if properly charged, will make these things much easier for you. In this case, I am referring to the heart, the mind, and the chi. Even though you may not realize it, your chakras greatly influence your life, and they do not do so by choice, but they function just like every organ and muscle in your body. If your arms are strong, they influence your life because you can perform actions that many others cannot do on their own, needing to ask for help, for example, from a colleague, neighbor, or friend, so they are not autonomous. If your arms are very weak, like the arms of an elderly person, this significantly influences your life, because you continuously have to depend on the help of the others to carry out any action. If you didn't even have the ability to move them, it would be even more difficult to live your life peacefully. The point is that when it comes to feelings, thoughts, and physical energy, others can do very little for you. Since you're used to living with empty chakras, it's normal that you don't immediately grasp the meaning of the change that would occur in your life if you fill them with energy, and especially if you use them for your own benefit. Chakras are containers, which means they hold energy, and this remains there ready to be used. It's then up to you to decide how, when, and if to use it. You are aware that every organ in the human body works for a specific reason. You know there are organs for breathing, others for digesting the food you've eaten, to transform it into the substances you need, and there are even organs for reproduction. Chakras are very similar, as there are those for the health of the body, those to aid digestion and cleansing the body, and even sexual ones. Each chakra, just like organs, has a precise function. Even though each organ is responsible for a specific task, at the same time it helps and strengthens the others. In fact, every organ in the body works like an individual gear that performs its job, but each of them makes a movement that also allows the other to function better. In other words, each one functions on its own, but at the same time they help each other, acting as gears of the same machine. All chakras also work together to ensure the overall health of the human body, just like the organs do. So, if there are organs for specific functions, it shouldn't be surprising to know that chakras also perform similar actions. They are like energy organs, and if they malfunction, the entire energy body is affected. Our physical body contains many parts, not just organs but also muscles, veins, bones, and much more. It contains many clearly distinct physical parts, and so does our energy body, even though they have different shapes and sizes. There's nothing surprising about that. People don't choose meditation because they have time to waste and don't know how to spend it, but because they have an emptiness inside that they don't know how to fill. Many people know that something in their life isn't right. They know they are on their own even though they have a family, friends and colleagues they see regularly. They feel disconnected from the world and overwhelmed by a distressing feeling they can't suppress because it comes back to them every night. Nevertheless, they don't understand exactly what isn't working in their life, as they don't know the meaning and consequences of energy deficiency. The reason why so many people decide to try meditation is to feel full inside. But to do that, they must fill their chest with a feeling that makes them feel they are in the right place, within the world, born at the right time, in the right location. In short, they need that nourishment that has been missing for too long in their heart chakra. By meditating in the heart chakra, they will soon begin to feel something different in their life. It won't be a sudden and devastating event, but rather that strange feeling that will make them realize that the life they were seeing wasn't really what it is, but they were looking at it through a blurred lens. With a more positive feeling, thanks to the fullness which is being created in the heart chakra, they will be able to see their life as not so catastrophic as it once seemed, but rather solvable. Little by little, they will realize that those problems shouldn't have overwhelmed them so much, because they will begin to feel full inside. Even problems will no longer cause them pain or affect them as they once did. The same thing will happen to you. Thanks to meditation, you will feel more courage, and you will begin to reflect on the fact that the problems, which once seemed impossible to solve, should instead be faced with more optimism and positivity. This way, you will be constantly accompanied by a stronger mental state that will allow you to overcome your obstacles. With the optimism and goodwill that the heart chakra will begin to provide, seasoned with plenty of motivation, you will feel like facing problems without being dominated by them anymore, and this is where the mind chakra comes into play. In fact, you can be as optimistic as you want, but you need your problems to actually be solved. Otherwise, your good mood won't last forever. That's where the mind chakra comes into play. If charged with pranic energy, the mind chakra allows your head to reason, to detach yourself from all those negative thoughts that wanted to make you believe you were overwhelmed by problems, and that there was no way out. The mind chakra helps you understand that there is always a solution. through meditation, it will activate in order to help you understand how to reason in the right way. Because not everyone is capable of doing so in the best way. And how can we judge them? No one ever taught us how to reason. We reason as we believe others do, imitating the people around us. Most of the time, the people around us reason with a background of pessimism, so we end up imitating them and doing the same. Why does every problem have to seem unsolvable, have to seem like the end of the world? Have to make us believe that the only way out will be the end of our life? Hey, calm down. It's not that bad. Your mind chakra will say, there's a solution. It will work out. Just give me some time. The mind chakra is meant exactly to find the solution to each of your problems, because every single event has a solution. But in order to find it, your chakra needs first of all silence. So, it will ask you not to think so it can find the most suitable solution for you. It's like having a double mind. You're used to having only one, full of thoughts, so you reason and look for solution amid total chaos. The mind chakra is like a deeper mind that gradually forms inside you, becoming bigger and smarter the more you meditate on that chakra. In this way, it will seek solutions for you, precisely when you're not despairing, so that when it finds them, it will bring them to the surface to let you know the solution. It's not easy to understand, since it's always you, but it's something you've never or almost never consciously used until now. In fact, when you have a problem, the only habit you know is to despair trying to find a solution. The mind chakra will ask you not to despair so you can stay silent and let it work for you. That's how it will find the solution. The mind chakra is like a deeper part of your mind that reasons without you being able to sense it. Precisely because it wants to find the solution to your problems without making you despair. So it asks you, don't think. Give me time to understand what the solution is. I'll take care of it. And you mustn't think, because by holding the non-thought, you allow it to reason in silence and find the solution, rather than reasoning in the chaos which prevents it from finding it due to the noise you produce within yourself. Suddenly, when you least expect it, you'll say, wow, what if I did this? What if I acted this way? Actually, this will solve the problem. And this will happen thanks to your mind chakra, because it will have found the best solution for you, which you will never have grasped without using it. Any problem is solvable if you allow yourself to find the solution. By allowing yourself to feel instead of only think, you'll manage to find the solutions for your problems you thought were unsolvable. It takes time and you have to give it that. You can trust your mind chakra, because it will never abandon you, but it cannot work without energy. In fact, you need to meditate, because without energy, the mind chakra cannot activate. Until now, it has always been dormant, because it only activates through meditation. So, it's normal not to understand its abilities, because you've never tested them before. The mind chakra will work to find every solution that suits you, but it needs the heart chakra to do its part too. That is, not to demotivate you, but to make you feel positive and optimistic, which it can do only through meditation. Because only then will you trust the mind chakra. If you were pessimistic, you will never trust it, and it will never believe that to find a solution you have to rack your brain, suffer, cry, hurt yourself as you always have, as if that could change anything. The desire to find a solution gnaws at you and puts you in a rush, but with this haste you've noticed that, until now, these problems haven't yet been solved. So, give your mind chakra the chance to find the solution for you. Especially for those sad and heartbreaking events that keep you awake at night. Trust it. This is what the heart chakra is for. To give you that trust you would have never understood otherwise. It can do it if you meditate on it. To do this, the mind chakra wants to process thousands of pieces of data at the speed of light and understand which is the right, fastest and simplest solution among all those it can find. It's like it filters out for you the possibilities that would waste time, those that ultimately wouldn't lead you to your goal, and all those that simply wouldn't be the best choice, to finally find the one that really is the best for your problem. Until now, you've known life without active chakras, because your chakras have been dormant your whole life, as you have never meditated on them. For this reason, you don't know what it feels like to have a truly charged heart chakra. It's like having a professional motivator inside you, who, every time you feel down or ready to give up, screams inside you with such a strong and deafening feeling that your mind immediately thinks, "What the heck was I doing? Let's roll up our sleeves, it's time for action." The heart chakra is uniquely yours and knows you better than anyone else. So, there's no motivator in the world that can compete with a well-charged heart chakra. Because the motivations it will find for you are ones that nobody else could find. They're exactly right and only work for you. So, the mind chakra, when charged, will find the solutions to your problems. But it needs the heart chakra to be just as charged, to give you the grit to keep going and the trust to rely on the mind chakra's decisions. The mind chakra can't always work well on its own because it often needs the help of the crown chakra. This chakra is really very important, especially when it comes to more difficult problems to deal with. The crown goes beyond the thoughts and solutions inside the mind, reaching into information from other dimensions and tapping directly into universal knowledge to discover a good solution to your problem. In this case, the crown temporarily transforms the mind chakra into a translator, using it to communicate directly with you. The crown chakra has a very high vibration, and without the mind chakra acting as a translator, it will be extremely difficult for you to understand its plans, because it's too evolved and not material enough to communicate perfectly with us. The crown chakra is like an antenna that, if you know how to use it, captures and absorbs useful information for you from much higher dimensions that you couldn't reach on your own. In other words, it's a very tall antenna that allows you to touch vibrations which you could never physically reach. Understanding the crown chakra is difficult. Perhaps it is the most complex chakra of all. This is precisely because it is like an ability beyond this world, as it doesn't stay limited to this dimension but also can reach others. The crown naturally belongs to us, but we are so used to not using it that it almost feels foreign. This is because you've never used it, having never meditated on it or practiced techniques to learn how to use it. So, it's normal that all this seems strange to you, since indeed you have never experienced it firsthand. But now you have the opportunity to learn how to do so. The crown chooses the right solutions for you before you even become aware of it. Then, through the mind chakra, it brings to your mind the idea on how to solve the problem. The crown is directly connected to higher dimensions, which in ancient terms will be described as a connection with the divine, or with God. It will make you believe it has already revealed the answer to you, but in reality, it has given you a solution whereby if you act in a certain way, it will lead you to a specific situation, where you will encounter certain people or events, guiding you to the right solution to your problem. To recap, if the mind chakra cannot find an immediately feasible and realizable solution, it asks for help from the crown chakra, which creates a scenario in your life with the help of the universe. So, that you find yourself in a situation that allows you to discover the solution at an unexpected time. This is because not all problems can be solved immediately and solely through your own actions, since sometimes to overcome certain obstacles, you need to know how to bypass them by other means. If in front of you there were a log, the mind chakra would say, jump over it to overcome it and move forward. But if in front of you there were a wall, the mind chakra alone wouldn't be enough to solve the problem. You will need something else with greater knowledge and broader vision, the crown chakra. At that point, it will seek the solution for you to face that obstacle. Suddenly, someone from the next building opens the door and says, "That wall can't be crossed, but you can go this way. Pass through the corridor of the building and exit from the side door. You'll find yourself on the other side of the street." In this way, you will have overcome the wall that was blocking your way forward. This is how the crown chakra works. It activates to find higher level solutions for you, solutions you will never have been able to reach alone, because you would have stopped forever in front of that wall without ever thinking you could get around it. So, the crown intervenes when your problem is beyond the mind's capabilities, finding a solution through external means. This could happen thanks to someone saying a specific phrase in your presence, after you observe the actions of someone else, or after meeting someone who can help you solve the problem, and so on. In a few words, the mind seeks an internal solution, and if it doesn't find one, the crown activates to seek or even create a solution around you, through its close connection to the universe that enables it to do so. Now you understand why comprehending God is not simple, even though all the components of our body will allow us to do so, being naturally connected to Him. Without meditation on the chakras, it's impossible to understand and use our chakras, much less to comprehend the universe. The crown chakra cannot directly tell you to go to a specific place and perform a particular action, especially in a context that seemingly has nothing to do with your request, as you wouldn't be able to understand it at all. So, to find the solution to your problem, it must communicate with you through the mind chakra, which will act as a translator. Since the idea doesn't come from the mind chakra but from the crown, even the mind chakra might not know exactly what is the best way. But because it trusts the crown, it will collaborate to give you an apparent answer that will push you to take an action, leading you into a situation where you will find the solution to your problem. The crown is too elevated and it's not possible to immediately grasp its intentions. Indeed, it may take you many years to fully understand its plans. But one thing is certain: if you allow it by meditating on it, the heart will help you trust it. If you have never heard of chakras before, all this might be quite new to you. But by practicing daily meditation, you will come to know the true value of each of these sources of strength. They will be the keys to your serenity. That's why chakras need to be nourished, so that they can work together in harmony to help you reach the goals you desire. If even just one of these chakras I named is lacking energy because you don't meditate on it enough, it's clear that the arrival of a solution to your problem will be delayed, if it will come at all, since you haven't allowed your chakras to act by meditating on them. This is why, until now, your chakras have never collaborated to guarantee you all the success described, and so you always wondered where you were wrong. The heart chakra is very important because it gives you the ability to trust. If you don't trust the higher chakras and believe you have to do everything alone without their help, then the whole process will fail and you'll feel bad, as always. You already know how this works, so, for once, trust them. Then trust them again, and again, until you learn that you must always trust your heart if you meditate. At this point, we can delve into the remaining chakras that we have not yet discussed. I decided to divide this lesson in two parts because understanding the chakras is not simple at all, and the reading would have been too dense for today. So, you can decide whether to use this break to meditate and/or reflect on today's lesson before moving on to the second part of the chakras. Or, if you want, to continue reading. You will find the continuation of this lesson in the next article. My advice is to meditate because it will help you better understand everything that will follow. Before you go, remember to leave a comment on this lesson, to let us know if you liked it and if it was helpful.